The Daily Beast last week wrote the headline is Top Dem. A lot to like about Stephen A. Smith's presidential bid. That is House Minority Speaker Hakeem Jeffries, who I hope will be on this show in the very near future. Another article came out this weekend by The New Yorker. Headline, Stephen A. Smith for president. NewYorker.com. Check it out. I must admit, I got on like a lavender blazer with a lavender shirt and a purple tie. I was looking pretty fly, if I should say so myself. I just want to throw that out there. Okay? And now the latest is courtesy of TMZ. Now, mind you, USA Today, Washington Post, various other publications have written about this as well. Stephen A. Smith, I am not running for U.S. president. This is when TMZ caught me coming out of a Shannon Sharp's party in New Orleans during Super Bowl week. And I guess they ran this recently. And I wanted to go there because I wanted to make sure that I put this to bed once and for all. I have no intentions of running for the presidency of the United States of America. I do not believe I am an aficionado. I do not believe that my pockets are deep enough for me to ignore the financial strain that could potentially have on me, because obviously I earn more than the president of the United States right now. He makes about $400,000 a year. That position there is. Senate and congressional figures make anywhere from $170,000 to $270,000 a year. Needless to say, I make more money than that.
What's up, y'all? Gerald here, creator of Gospel Chops and your host for this YouTube channel, back with another video. Now, y'all, I am a fan of all these different independent content creators who are popping up here these days, like a Stephen A. Smith, like a Club Shay Shay, like a Cam Newton, all these guys who feel the need to step out here and voice their opinion on a myriad of topics. I love it. But this Stephen A. seems to be coming into trouble repeatedly, because he wants to step off into political conversations. And as far as I know, he doesn't have a political science degree like I have, but he seems to want to keep putting his toes off into the deep waters of politics. He seems to be beholden historically to the Democrat Party, and when he says things that are in opposition to them, common sense things, in my opinion, he seems to draw the ire of people in his own party. People on that plantation, people who want to keep all the blackity blacks rounded up and tied to that tree on that deep Southern Democrat plantation. I believe there's a burning fire in Stephen A. that wants to get out and speak truth to power. But he is so beholden to the overlords of the Democrat Party. Every time he tries to step in that direction, they come out and they get to clapping at him, even on his own platform. I'm proud that he would step away from his corporate overlords and say, I need my own platform. I advocate for that all the time. If y'all follow me, you know that when I get in your son's ear, I need him to establish his own lane, establish his own business, establish his own foundation, and establish his own voice where he can speak his piece and be okay with what he has to say. Stand 10 toes down on your own network, on your own platform. But anytime you do that, when you got ties to the plantation, when you got ties to these other people, when you got ties to an old school party, you know they're going to send their hitmen out after you. Such is the case of Stephen A. Smith, where he said the wrong thing out here and drew the ire of a James Carville.
Put him on stage last June 27th for a debate. He embarrasses himself, and 3 weeks later, he has to bow out so Kamala Harris could come in as a Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States of America at a time when they didn't have any time to put somebody else in to compete with her. You don't overcome that after losing the election. America ain't going to go for it on the left. They ain't going to go for it. Who else you got? Hakeem Jeffries? I personally support Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, but I don't know how much of a national figure he is. I already interviewed Josh Shapiro. And oh, by the way, to the Republicans listening out there, you're welcome to come on the Stephen A. Smith Show. I'm not one-sided. See, this is why my name is in the election. You hear me, Griff? You hear me, Wes? You hear me, Sherry? You hear me, Rashad? You hear me? The Stephen A. Smith team I'm talking to. That's why I'm in the news. I'm not in the news because I'm here. I'm in the news because the Democratic Party is here. Damn it, lower than that. Down at the bottom. They suck right now. Horrible. Because they don't have a voice. Where the hell is the voice? And everybody want to sit up there and talk about, we don't need a voice. 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 Well, guess what? Somebody got to send a message. How the hell can somebody receive a message if there's no messenger? You got to do it. And they don't have anybody. That's why Stephen A. Smith is a candidate. Who the hell told y'all I'd want to be a Democrat? That's why I'm a candidate. It ain't because I want to. It ain't because I'm some expert. It ain't because I'm some aficionado who's saying that I know more. You know how much I would have to learn? Hell, I don't even know how to pronounce most foreign dignitaries' names. The sad part is that I'd still beat any Democrat out there right now. Because who the hell is resonating with the American people? Hell, even Josh Shapiro came on the show, who I like a lot, by the way. And even he talked about, I'm just concentrating on Pennsylvania. What? What? We need more than that. I have no interest in getting involved. More so than pundency and commentary. But you better hope I stay feeling that way. Because let me tell you something right now. I said I'll bring the rain. I lied. I'd bring hell. Hell. Because I ain't playing. I'm there to win. Our two-party system sucks.
Okay. You know, I am a big Stephen A. Smith fan. I remember I saw him some years ago on TV. And I said, man, this guy's coming in hot. I don't know how long this is going to last. The truth about it, he's really worn well with me. He's very outspoken. Look, he's like anybody else. Does any kind of commentary, sports commentary. He's sometimes wrong. Way more times he's right. I find him to be, when it comes to sports, I find him to be really insightful. When it comes to politics, he don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. He's on there running his goddamn mouth about how he may have to run as a Democrat because there's nothing left of the Democratic Party. There's no talent. Stephen A., are you shitting me? I mean, you say you're friends with Wes Moore and you say you're friends with Josh Shapiro. I'm friends with both of them. I think they're really extraordinary, talented people. I got news for you, dude. There's 6 or 7 other people in the Democratic Party that are just that talented. So before you start running your fucking mouth off about politics, a topic of which you really don't know anything about, you ought to sit back and think about it and call some people and run it by them. But don't let your political stupidity stand in the way of your outspoken and I think often insightful views when it comes to American sports, of which I think you are an expert at. And if you know Wes and you know Josh, you should call them and run your opinions by them, because I know both of them and they're both smart guys and they're both very ambitious guys. And the last thing that they're thinking is, if I decide that I want to take the next step in American politics, I'm going to be facing some brutal, brutal opposition. And they both know that. And they know it deep down and they know it well. So Stephen A., keep up your shit on sports. I enjoy it. I like it, but don't make a fool of yourself anymore and talking about politics.
Now, y'all, if you follow me for some time, you know that I like Carville. I like his presentation. I like his authenticity. I don't like the fact that he's beholden to a certain party and has certain beliefs that are antithetical to America, in my opinion. We have different political beliefs, but I understand where he's coming from. And I like the fact that he's authentic in his presentation. But for him to come at a brother, a blackity black, and say, hey, boy, sit down and look, I'm paraphrasing. I'm inserting my own ideology into this, but this is how I interpret what James Carville is saying. He said, yeah, you could talk about basketball, football, baseball. You stay over there in your lane, young blackity black, little Negro. But don't step off here over in our lane, because we are educated. We are seasoned in this politics. And I'm just going to step out here and say, I don't think James Carville is seasoned at all. I think he's lacking seasoning, if you was to ask me. But we're going to get beyond that and say, okay, this is how he's presenting it. saying, Stephen A. Smith, you ain't ready to step over here with the big fish. We in deep waters over here, boy. You go over to the kiddie pool and keep talking about dunks and three-point shots and touchdown passes. You stay over there, little boy. Because you're stepping off in a lane that you're not ready for, you're not prepared for. And you come over here, you're going to get dealt with like them slaves on that plantation. Because see, I'm one of these masters over here. I've been over here so long. I'm 80 plus years old, boy. Listen. We know how to deal with the blackity blacks like you, Stephen A. I'm paraphrasing, y'all. This is just how I interpret what I saw. And I'm sharing it with you. I hope you don't get bent out of shape, but this is what I see Carville talking about. He's saying, boy, stay in your lane. Don't come over here with the big shots trying to mess things up. No, you not gonna run for no president. No, you not gonna tell the Democrat Party that they don't have a bench, that they don't have people lined up to run for president. They don't have no talent in the background. You can't say that because you ain't qualified, little young Negro with the receding hairline. Slow down, Carville. Relax. Well, Carville liked to drink, y'all, even though he in a hotel room, apparently, obviously. But he still got a beer in his hand at the hotel. This man is a drinker, and y'all already know when that liquid courage bubble up, these old Southerners get to talking it like they feel it. It's okay. I'm okay. I like my racism served cold. I know how to deal with you. Put it out there. Put it up front. Now, Stephen A. gonna know how to deal with you moving forward because he understands now after seeing content like this. Maybe that party is not as welcoming as you thought, Stephen A. And I know Stephen A. is a fence sitter right there in the middle, swaying back and forth depending on which way the wind blows, but maybe people like Carville will convince Stephen A. that gut reaction that you feeling, that intuition that you feeling might be leading you in the right direction, Stephen A., because it's seeming to me like you want to lean to the right. Like you want to cling to those lessons that Big Mama taught us. You want to cling to those lessons that we learned in church. Stephen A., I don't know why you committed to these people, but I'm glad that you talking your talk on your own platform. You standing 10 toes down for what you believe because it's bringing them out, Stephen A. And people like Carville gonna tell you how he feel about it. And I hope you respond in a way that I would respond when the plantation masses come out with that whip and put it on your back to try to keep you in place.
A lot of Stephen A. Smith over the past number of years because Kyle loves this guy.
Really? That's hilarious.
Yes, even though his politics are very centristy. Leftists are sharing a tweet that he put out years ago where it was like, listen to Bernie Sanders and he's exactly right about everything. To be like, oh, maybe. But I mean, we know his politics are very like normie, always hewing to the center. He's real buddy with Sean Hannity, loves this, loves him, loves the whole mantra of bipartisan sort of norms, etc. But he is at least charismatic. He is at least charismatic. He's at least unafraid of he's not afraid of controversy. He's not afraid of, actually saying what he thinks and stating it in a clear and unequivocal manner. And I think in terms of putting aside my own political ideological project, I think so much of the discussion, especially after this loss about how does this issue pull and that issue pull, and maybe they should have, said a little bit more about this or said a little bit more about that based on the polling, et cetera, et cetera. I really think one of the core issues for Democrats is just a lack of someone who is compelling, who will say something brash, defend it, be unafraid, not be, a shrinking violet and running from every controversy, who could certainly go on any podcast Stephen A. Smith could and make his case and be comfortable and be likable and all those sorts of things. If Democrats want to win again, they do need to look for a character who is like Stephen A. Smith. And just in terms of winning, again, not in terms of what I want to see ideologically happen, just in terms of winning, that is very much the direction that they need to pursue, more so than any of the poll tested adjusting themselves on this issue or that issue.
Yeah. And there you have it, y'all. Stephen A. Smith saying, look, Don't take me that seriously. I ain't trying to run for president. I don't even want that gig. It don't even pay enough to support my lifestyle. Well, it ain't about the money at the end of the day. Donald Trump don't even take a salary. Elon Musk don't even take a salary. At a certain point, Stephen A., the money is a secondary or tertiary issue. It becomes about the power. It becomes about the control. That's why a billionaire would want a situation like this. That's why the richest man in the world would want to be connected to a situation like this. It's about global power. And Elon Musk is so rich, Stephen A., he said, I'm bored with Earth. Can you imagine being so rich and so powerful that you bored with the planet? He said, bro, we going to Mars. I'm bored with Earth. We gonna take it to a whole nother level where nobody else can go. Well, Stephen A., you keep on talking your talk. You keep on pitching it out there. You keep on pissing off Democrats because they feel like you are muddying the waters of their future plans by even hinting that you might put your hat in the ring for a Democrat presidency in 2028. Oh my goodness, Stephen A., what have you done just by speaking it into existence? Just by putting it in the atmosphere. You have brought out the old heads like Carville. You done drove Carville to drinking. Not that he needed much help, but you done drove him to drinking and turning on his camera phone and saying, I gotta speak on this because Stephen A. done lost his mind. Y'all, we got one trying to run away. We got one trying to break free. We need to corral him back on this plantation and tell him what his place is and where he need to be. That's what Carville said, bro. He said, you stay in your lane and talk over there. Talk about sports. Talk about touchdowns and slam dunks. And you stay right there because if you dare step off into this political arena, boy, we will deal with you like we dealt with Kunta Kinte. We'll let you know what it really is. You thought you was free? We'll let you know in this situation. That's what Carville said. That's how I interpret it. That may not be what Carville said verbatim, but that's sure how I took it. And I hope Stephen A. is keen enough to take it in that same way. Stephen A., they ain't playing with you, boy. You better fall back when you talk about these political issues on your little podcast. We all know we subject to all of this out here in this content creator space, so we got to deal with it. But you have brought out the ire of the Democrat Party, boy. You about to feel the sting of the whip on your hind parts, Stephen A. What you gonna do? You gonna break free, or you gonna stay on that plantation? What do y'all think? What is Stephen A. gonna do when the party apparatchiks, the old heads of the party, come out and try to put him back in line? Try to check him like a slave on that Democrat plantation. What do you think Stephen A. is gonna do as the old heads of the party come out and put him back in line? And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video so we can get more people involved in the conversation, y'all. And like I always say, always remember and never forget, without the gospel, it's just chops. Until next time. Peace.